welcome back to the channel. We're back working on the Coyote Swapped 99 Mustang. Today is a big day. I'm supposed to take delivery of the engine for the car. We ended up purchasing a 2015 engine with 60,000 miles on it, and it comes with like all the goodies, like the transmission's coming with it too, and like the gas, brake, and clutch pedal, and the body harness, and like the coolant degas bottle, and all the little odds and ends, the fuse box, so on and so forth. And while I've been waiting on the engine, this mountain of boxes behind me has showed up. That's pretty much everything that we need to do the swap. The headers, the K-member, all the fuel system, everything is in those boxes. I think the only thing that we have left to order is the control pack. Yeah, I think that's about it. And then a clutchless alternator pulley so that the system will charge. But while I'm waiting on the engine today, I'm gonna continue with the disassembling the car. So they gave me like a 5-hour window of when the delivery is supposed to happen. So I'm gonna try to get what I can done before then. As you know, I already took the gas tank off and figured out that we do need a gas tank, and then that box right there is the new gas tank. So I think today what I'm gonna do is drain the transmission and drop the drive shaft out of it and stuff like that. So I already got the car up on all fours. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the fluid out of the transmission, and then break those drive shaft bolts loose, get the drive shaft out of there, and then hopefully get all the exhaust out from underneath of it too. I think that I should be able to handle all that before they get here, and then hopefully the owner of the car will come and help me actually get the 4.6 engine out of there. I think I'm gonna take it out through the top, and I might even put the Coyote back in it through the top. I've seen a lot of people go through the bottom, but I think I may just try to go through the top, but I'm not sure yet. I think for sure I'm definitely going to pull the engine from the top, but I don't know about putting the Coyote back in. I might go through the bottom, but I've never went through the bottom before. I always went through the top, so that'll be something new. But I'm gonna go ahead and get up under here and show you guys how to get these parts apart. All right, and to drain the transmission fluid, you'll do it through this plug right here. All that you do is just find, locate the rear part of the transmission back here where the cross member is, and it's just on the other side of the cross member. And all that you're gonna do is stick the end of a 3/8 ratchet in there. If I can get this one in. Yep, there we go. And then these extendable ratchets make it a lot easier, because it's like you've got a breaker bar on the end of a 3/8, and you're just gonna pop that open and then let the fluid drain out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll pick back up with you. As you can see, I got the plug out of there. And another tip, just above this there is another plug directly above that one, and that is your fill plug. Stick your ratchet up there and make sure that it breaks loose before you go draining all your fluid.
because you don't want to drain all your fluid and then find out that your drain plug is, or that your fill plug is completely stuck. That's just going to make things harder. I mean, you can always fill it up through the shifter through the top, but just check your plug above it just to be safe, and then let this thing drain out, and then stick the plug back in, and you'll be all done. Then you can move back to the drive shaft.
Now, as for the drive shaft, back here where it connects to the differential, you'll see there are 4 12mm 12-point bolts. It is very important that you use the 12-point wrench, because the 6-sided wrenches will just round these off. If you can get your hands on these offset boxed in wrenches, this is the best thing to get these drive shaft bolts off, in my experience, because they just sit right on there and they're up. They offset so that they're out of the way, and then you can kind of break it loose, smack it with a rubber mallet, whatever you need to do. But I'm gonna go ahead and get all these drive shaft bolts loose, and then we'll get this drive shaft pulled out of here. Alright, so I do have the drive shaft out of the vehicle. Like I said, use the 12-point wrench. You'll get the 2 bottom bolts, and then you'll put the car in neutral, and you'll rotate the drive shaft 180 degrees so you can get to the other 2 bolts. And then to get it off of the rear end, I just smacked it with a hammer a couple times. But one thing to keep in mind is you do want to mark this, and also mark your drive shaft. That way you know how your drive shaft was sitting on here. You want to put it back in the same way that you took it off. So just put a little notch there. I just took a grinder with a cut wheel and just scratched it a little bit, because a marker wouldn't work, because this is like covered in rust and WD-40. So yeah, next thing I'm gonna move on to is pulling the exhaust off of the car. I'm gonna start with the other side of the axle there. Take those bolts out and just pull the tailpipes out, and then I can go to the axle backs and pull the axle backs out, and then all I got left is to unbolt the exhaust from the manifolds. That's when it gets really fun. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff coming up. Alright, so we do have the passenger and driver side exhaust tips off. What's holding them is them 2 bolts. I stuck them back in there so that I don't lose them. As you can see on both sides, it's 2 bolts. Just back them out, and it comes right loose. And then up in here is where your rubber hanger for your metal hanger for your exhaust. It goes through this little rubber grommet here and holds your pipe up. So I'm gonna move on up to the mid pipe and get that taken off. Yeah, so they just dropped off the engine. They brought it right up here and sat it right down. Got the gas tank, and I guess everything's wrapped down in there. They packaged it well. I'm pretty happy that they took the time to pack. Oh, it's covered in foam and everything. That's excellent. So I'm gonna have to cut into this and start digging here soon, but yeah, guess I'm gonna get back to the exhaust. Like I said, right now I'm taking these bolts out, but one of the nuts is gone, so I'm gonna have to cut it on this mid pipe. So I'm gonna get my cutting wheel and my grinder and cut the end of that bolt off so we can get these axle backs out. All right, now we have the axle back off of the vehicle. As you can see, I did end up having to cut the last 3 bolts. Only one of the bolts actually worked. If you're working on cars this old, that's to be expected. And then you will remove
the hanger from this rubber bushing and that rubber bushing, and then you got to kind of turn the exhaust and twist it and pull it out to get it up over the axle. But yeah, we got it that much out so far. Next thing I'll need to do is get up in there and try to get the mid pipe, this H pipe and the cats and everything off of the exhaust manifolds. It sucks, so I'm gonna go ahead and get going on that. The transmission has drained all its fluid, so I'm gonna stick this back in here temporarily so I don't lose it. But everything's coming along nicely. This car isn't nearly as bad rust wise as the last Mustang I was working on, and you can see a lot of these carbs, the pinch welds are all bent up. This car's never been lifted on the pinch welds. Everything's nice and clean under here. And then in my last video, as I was telling you, they undercoated it, so it's all fresh paint up underneath it here, which is great. You don't see this very often. So yeah, I'm gonna see what I need to get these manifold bolts off, and then we'll move on from there. All right guys, so I've been under here for about an hour trying to get the manifold, this one manifold bolt out and the starter out. I've been switching back and forth between the two because I can't get the top bolt for the starter and I can't get the manifold bolt out, and I really need the starter out to get the manifold bolt out. So I just wanted to point out, I found a new way to get the 4.6 starter bolt, the top bolt out. As you can see, my 1/4 inch ratchet is up here and it is on this bolt and it's turning it, and I cannot believe it because there's hundreds of videos online. Everybody complains about this bolt, and I just thought outside the box and I figured it out. Just a 1/4 inch drive ratchet and about a 3-inch extension, and I fished it up here just like this. You need both hands to do it, and then I reached my other hand back from behind the manifold and got it up on there like this, and it broke right loose. You got to pull really hard with your fingers, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of the starter bolt out and get the starter out of the way, and then we should be able to get the rest of the exhaust out. I still can't believe that I got this starter out. I tried all the different methods with the extensions and everything, coming from the front through the motor, the gaps, and I tried going through the wheel well. And out of all that, what ended up working was just a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch drive socket with a small extension and the 13 millimeter. Like I said, it's tricky. You got to get it up in there, and then you pull on the end of the wrench with your fingers. You got to have really strong hands, and I have really big hands, so you know, anybody should be able to do this. But I got like my left hand in there and got my fingers on it, and my right hand, and I pulled down, and eventually it just broke loose. But now I just got to get these wires off of the back of the starter here, and then it'll be smooth sailing from there.
Alright guys, so I'm gonna call that the end of the second day working on the Coyote swap. I got a decent amount done considering all the trouble I ran into. I got the entire exhaust system off of it except for one exhaust manifold bolt. I could have got it off, but I just left it because all I literally got to do is just take screw that one bolt out, and everything's gonna drop out of there. Drain the transmission, drop the drive shaft, you know, all the essential stuff underneath of the car that you need to do to pull the engine out. But pretty much it's almost time to pull the 4.6 out. I think I need to pull the 2 motor mount bolts, of course. There's 3 bolts in the air conditioning compressor. There's 4 bolts holding the power steering. And then just all the electrical connectors, and the engine and transmission should come all out in one unit. Yeah. Wade's Motorsports, they, as long as everything checks out, I will say they are a reputable place to buy engines, because even the guy that dropped this engine and transmission off, he was like, man, you know, I deliver engines and stuff like this from junkyards all the time, and they never do what these guys did. They built this whole big box and built like a second platform for the gas tank, and everything down in here is wrapped with like some sort of foam and then wrapped with plastic to make it waterproof, and it's like secured down really well. I'm impressed. As long as there's no issues with the engine, then I would 100% recommend Wade's. Will Wade is the owner. He's a super nice guy. I talked to him a good bit. He seems like he cares about his reputation. So, you are paying a premium. We paid after shipping $7,000 for the engine and transmission and body harness and pedals and all that, steering column, all that stuff, and then $500 to ship it from, I think he's in North Carolina, to here. So if you're looking for a surefire, guaranteed good running engine, as of right now, I'd say call them guys. They have seems like that's what they do. They buy these Coyotes that have been wrecked and verify that the drivetrain's good, and then they yank everything out and sell it. So what I want to do now is take a second to show you all the parts. As I said, there's a ton of stuff here. So I just kind of want to flip the camera around and go through everything with you and show you what I have so far, and talk a little bit about what I'm going to be ordering tomorrow, because there's still a few pieces of the puzzle that are missing. This car is going to take a little bit more than what a normal Coyote swap would, because it's been sitting so long. All the tires are bald. The exhaust is it's got a lot of rust inside of it. So that's what it is. But I'm gonna flip the camera around and we'll take a look at all this stuff. All right, so to start, I'm not gonna open all of them, but we did not spare any expense on the suspension, even though we're spending a lot of money on the Coyote swap. We wanted really good suspension too, so we actually got the Coney Sport all the way around. The yellow adjustable struts and shocks. I've already had these out of the box and checked them out, but they are surprisingly a lot nicer than the yellows. I had the yellows on my car, and these are like way heavier and thicker. But I'm very impressed with the quality of these yellows. I may even switch to yellows on my car in the future, just because of how much I like these yellows that I'm gonna be putting on his car. Let me make sure I didn't lose nothing. Oh, instructions. Sorry about that. Don't want to go losing nothing when I'm trying to show y'all stuff. So yeah, we got Coney yellow all the way around. That's one of the struts. No need to show you all of them. Moving on. This is the
accessory bracket kit from Power by the Hour. It includes 2 belts. I believe this is your alternator bracket here to mount your alternator to the Coyote motor. This is the power steering, I believe. Yeah, the power steering pump bracket. And I believe this is the adapter for the AC compressor. Yeah, and this is all solid billet aluminum, milled out of a solid chunk of aluminum from what it looks like to me. So it's high quality stuff. And then of course there's I think it's a tensioner. Yeah, belt tensioner for the driver's side. And then we got a Motorcraft pulley here. I will say that for $750, I think this is a little overpriced. This is literally all you get for 750 bucks is those 3 bracket kits, the tensioner, the pulley, and 2 belts. That box right there, $750. Kinda fucking crazy. Moving on, we have the tubular K-member and front coilover kit. These are tubular A-arms. They do have greasable ball joints in them. This here is the hardware kit. I did go ahead and get the hardware kit, so we got all new bolts and everything for the K-member. It did also come with rack and pinion bushings when you order that hardware kit as well. 2 different kinds of rack and pinion bushings, one for racing and one for street use. These are your Viking springs for your UPR coilovers. I went with 10 250 springs. We wanted 12 200, but this is what they sent. I don't know if they're gonna work. I put them together, and with the collar all the way up, there's still no tension on the spring, so the car's going to have to be under load before it even puts tension on the spring, if that makes sense. Then here we have the UPR shark style caster camber plates. They're all wrapped up. You'll see them eventually when I go to put the suspension in the car. But we got the shark fin looking caster camber plates here. This right here is the shims for the motor mount. They are 3/8 inch shims for the motor mount to give us a little bit more clearance around the oil pan. This right here is your front coilover kit. So this is like the sleeve and the collar and all that stuff to build your coilovers. And then of course your tubular K-member. It is very nice. I love the finish. Can't complain. I think this is going to be beautiful on the car, especially when you see what I'm going to show you last, because they're going to match perfectly. So this is the first box. That all came from Lethal Performance, I believe. This box here is some odds and ends I got from American Muscle. Sway bar bushings and sway bar end links. Nothing major. It's literally all it is. Supreme brand sway bar bushings. I put those same sway bar bushings on my car, and I was very happy with the construction of them. They are very tough. They're not rubber. I believe they're polyurethane. Yeah, I went ahead and just bought the same one for his car and the same end links for his car, because I had the same on mine and they seem high quality, so I didn't see no reason getting anything different. Here we have the fuel pump, I believe. Yeah, that's the fuel pump. for the new SVE Coyote Swap fuel system for 99 to 04 cars. This is your filter and pressure regulator in one. I may be wrong, but I believe this is actually a fuel filter for a Corvette. But as you can see, it's return style. I actually kind of like this because it makes it simpler, but there's your inlet and your return, and then you just got one fuel line that goes all the way to the front of the car, and the pressure regulator stays in the back of the car, so it's one less thing you got to mount in the engine bay, and it helps keep it a little bit cleaner. So the SVE Coyote Swap fuel system comes in all separate pieces, like all your fittings and braided hoses. They just like throw it all together and sell it to you as this kit. All these braided hoses are from Nitrous Outlet, it looks like, and then all your AN fittings, and then we have the oil filter adapter, so that we can get rid of the oil cooler on the Coyote motor and just screw the oil filter right in. This is your Scram Speed, man, that's a mouthful. Scram Speed brand Coyote Swap pedal bracket. So this is for your gas pedal. It's one solid piece of aluminum, just like all the brackets for the accessory, and it's high quality. It's good stuff. In case you're wondering, you have to put a new gas pedal in for the Coyote, because these older cars are the throttle is controlled by a cable, and in this new car it's drive-by-wire. So it just electrical connector plugs into the gas pedal, and this mounts where your existing gas pedal. When you take your existing gas pedal out, you stick this on, and then you mount your new electronic gas pedal to this bracket. And it even comes with new bolts for mounting it and everything. So that's good. This was one of the more expensive pedal brackets, but it's also the nicest and most high quality. And seeing as how the gas pedals, one thing probably you're stomping on all the time, you want that to be secure. So moving on, we have, I don't even know what that's for. I have no idea what that's for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 bolts. Couldn't tell you what those are for, unless they're for the motor mounts. These are, there's more of the fuel system stuff, more fuel system, so many AM fittings. These are Prothane 4.6 motor mounts that we're going to be putting on the Coyote. And then of course, battery relocation kit. Comes with the power and ground, and then your box to mount your battery in the trunk. I need to figure out what this is, because I have no earthly idea what these 6 bolts are for, and that is not good. They gotta be to the motor mount. I don't know though. This is more shocks and struts. This is the rest of the Coney Yellow stuff right here. And then we have the BBK Coyote Swap headers. I was surprised at how light these are. They did come with new header gaskets and hardware. However, this header gasket was damaged. I called BBK. They're sending me a brand new one. Don't want to put a damaged header gasket on our Coyote Swap. So yeah, but these are surprisingly light. And as I said before, they're going to match that K-member really well. They got that same kind of shade to them. So yeah, well, that's the hardware kit down there. And then the last thing I think is a brand new gas tank. So this big box here the brand new gas tank for the car. And then there's also fuel filler neck grommet. So that's everything that we have so far. We are going to be ordering more stuff tomorrow, such as the control pack, clutchless alternator pulley, a flywheel, a clutch, clutch fork, clutch release bearing, clutch cable, pallet bearing, possibly some brakes, a BBK X pipe, all kinds of stuff on the agenda. There's still a couple $1,000s worth of parts we gotta buy. So it's a long journey ahead, but I'm excited for it. I'm building this car for a good friend of mine, and it's gonna be a great car when it's done. I'm very excited about it. So, and also today is April 17th, so happy Ford Mustang Day. I did take my car out and drive it today. I didn't realize it was Mustang Day until a little bit ago, but yeah, so I'm thinking tomorrow I'm gonna order more stuff, and then probably 2 or 3 days from now, I'm gonna have my friend come over, and we're gonna yank the engine and possibly break down the pallet for the new engine and start getting the new engine put together, get the accessory brackets on it, get the headers on it, get the K-member mounted to it. That way we can dolly it up underneath of the car and set the car down on the engine and slip the K-member bolts in and be good to go. But yeah, I think that's about all I want to cover in this video. So yeah, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, leave them in the comment section. If you like what you saw, leave a like on the video, and most of all, subscribe to the channel. A lot more content coming your way. Have a great day, and happy Mustang Day.